Hello everybody. Alright, today we're going to be changing the fuel filter on my 2005 Dodge Ram 2500 5.9 liter turbo diesel, and this goes the same for the 2003 to the 2007. So right here is the canister that houses the fuel filter, and it is on the back driver's side of the motor, and there it is there. So there's a couple different companies such as Snap-on and yeah, there's a couple other ones. Anyway, they make a special socket to fit on that nut on the top, and you can buy those. I'm not gonna buy one of those. I just use a good old crescent wrench. And anyway, before you get this going, what I like to do is down there on the bottom, you can see this yellow tab that's down here. This yellow tab right here, that's part of the separator, and it's got a hose, and what I did is I already finagled it down there. I'll show you right here. So down there I've got a water bottle. If you fish it up through the back side of the differential and you slip it onto that hose that comes from the separator, there you go, you can see it a little better. And I'll fit that water bottle on there. Some people just let it run out and go into a drain pan. I don't like to do that, it makes more of a mess. And what I do is I put a bottle down there and kind of lean it and set it up on the axle, and it stays there pretty well. So anyway, so what I like to do is, yeah, you drain that first and reach in there, and it's pretty simple. You just turn that lever and you can see it starting to, you can't really see it, sorry about that. Anyway, it starts to drain the fuel. So as it's draining the fuel, I will take my crescent wrench, get that on there, and they're not on there super tight. You don't have to crank them on there when you install this piece back either. Sorry about that. Anyway, so just get it on there and kind of give her a little twist, and there you can see it spinning. So and like I said, you could buy a socket, especially for these common rail 5.9 liters, but I don't feel like doing that, and I got a crescent wrench that fits it just perfect. And so as I got it loose, it started letting a little air in there so it doesn't create such a vacuum. Kind of twist that guy out. There we go. And you start to see it now. You can actually see the fuel drain in there. There it is. So it'll drain. Pretty simple. No need to take it to a shop. And cost you money. If you got, 8 to 10 minutes, you can do it yourself and save yourself a little bit of money. But anyway, so that's the first step. Get it going. And so anyway, it'll slip in there. There's a rubber gasket that rides in there. So I'm just waiting for that thing to drain. And what that'll also do is, I like to drain it first. That also helps to drain the filter so you don't have as big as a mess when you're pulling that filter out, because the filter is actually how it's snapped inside of that thing, inside the lid. You can see it right there. Actually, there's the filter down there. Pretty dark and dirty. So anyway, looked like it stopped draining. So I'll show you guys the next part. All right, everybody, so got the fuel filter out in the lid. So what I like to do with this part as well, and it's kind of one of those steps, some people do, some people don't. I like to do it just because there's usually all sorts of nastiness in there. So let me show you this really quick. And so what I like to do is I like to take and I like to wipe out that bowl. You can see it in there. You can see all that dirtiness in there, all the contaminants. So I like to wipe that out pretty good and hit it with a little carb cleaner or brake cleaner, let it drain out, keep that valve open. So I still got that valve open, and you can see all the yellow down there, all the diesel. So that's one of those things that I like to do before I install the new filter. And if you're having a fuel problem and you're not so sure if it's your pump or if you even got fuel flow getting in there, what you can do is you can pull your filter out just like so, jump in, just turn the key over for a split second, and you'll see it'll pump fuel back into the bowl here. That'll let you know if you got good fuel flow or not. But anyway, so I'm gonna get this all cleaned up and wiped up, and then I'll show you the next step. All right, guys, so here's the next step. Like I said, I got the fuel filter out in the cap. So there's these little clips in here, and what I like to do is I just like to press those. You can pop them. You just kind of pull them back a little bit, and you just kind of work your way around. That's the easiest way that I found. And this filter will just come right out. And I got a piece of cardboard and just an old sock. You could use any old rag, paper towels, whatever you got. But clean this off really well. And so I got my new one right here. Here's the new filter. So this here's for the shaft that goes up inside of there. So it goes down this way. So as you start cleaning it, just clean it off. Make sure there's no other contaminants there. It's going to get filtered anyway, but why have more? So you just snap it on there. Hands are pretty nasty. You see, I already got the filter dirty, but anyway, there's that. And you also have the new ring, which should replace too. So that's pretty easy. Slide the new one on there. Sits down inside that seat. It's right in there, as you can see. So there it is. Anyway, that's the new fuel filter, and it's ready to go. All right, so here we go. Here's the last and final step. Anyway, you got to be sure you close that valve back off. So remember, it's pointing this way. That was to open it, and then this is to close it. You got to have it this way. What I like to do is I got that bowl nice and clean. I should have showed the rags, but anyway, there's a lot of stuff in there, a lot of just dirt-looking stuff, contaminants. And what I like to do is I like to add just an ounce and a half of some type of injector cleaner for diesels. You know, there's the Power Service, there's Lucas, there's several different companies. I use the Diesel Clean, the gray bottle, Power Service. Anyway, there it is there. So I just add like I said, ounce and a half of that in there. And then what we do is we fit the fuel filter back in there. It kind of goes in sideways, and you just gotta kind of lift it up. Remember that hole that we had facing the bottom, it'll slide over that shaft that's pointing up, and it sits over it pretty tight, and then just spin it back on. Sorry, got to push down on it a little bit. All right, so it's on there. I'll just put a little pressure on it with that crescent wrench again, get it back nice and tight. I'll take the bottle off, and my valve's closed. So anyway, once you're done with that, all you've got to do is to repurge, reprime that canister. So you just turn the key on, let it sit for 15-20 seconds, bump the starter, turn it off, and repeat it until I do that 2 or 3 times, and then I'll turn it over, and usually she fires right up. And then once it fires up, I just let it run for a couple seconds, and I shut it off. And so the reason why I do that is that injector cleaner, you remember that we put in there, that injector cleaner goes right in. You're getting a pretty potent dose of that cleaner into the injectors. I'll let it sit like that if I can, you know, a half an hour. If I do this in the evening, I've even let it sit in there overnight and come out in the morning, fire it up. That way you're getting just a good clean system. All right, guys, so she's started up. She's been running for a second. Sorry I ended the video a little bit early. This here is actually the final step. So what you want to do is, after it runs for a minute, you really want to check that and look all around it. Feel around it, take a paper towel or whatever you need to. Feel around the cap, make sure there's no fuel leaking. So anyway, there it is there. So that's the final step. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, hit that like button and the subscribe button. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a good day. Bye.